IAWH for sharing some of the questions that some of you who registered had. And one of them that stood out to me, can you suggest any self-care tools? And how do you balance the care of a loved one with taking care of yourself? And my answer to that is that you have to practice. And you have to practice the tools that you do find. Other caregiver speakers mentioned some of the things that some of the places they went to for supports. Area agencies on aging in the DC area. Ours is actually called the Office on Aging, but it usually comes from similar nomenclature. In counties and cities in every state, you have government entities that are focused on providing services to older Americans and people, and in some cases also people with disability, who are living with disabilities who aren't necessarily over a particular age. Those offices have access to a lot of services. That's where your Meals on Wheels that you hear about, a lot of the respite services. And if you're unfamiliar with respite, that's when either a volunteer or some other companion comes to provide a break essentially for caregivers so that they can take it for their own rejuvenation or to take care of other things that they need to do. Respite can occur in the form of an adult daycare center. There are lots of different ways that can take place. Well, your area offices on aging can help connect you with those services. There are just a few big support infrastructures for caregivers in the country, and the way caregivers access support in this country is basically through the person that they're caring for. Unfortunately, we don't really have like a standalone government entity or body that really connects caregivers specifically with results. Hopefully we can change that one day, but for right now, your area agency on aging is one. Your Veterans Administration, if you're caring for someone, a spouse or a parent or another loved one who has been in military service, you definitely want to look into what benefits are available to them. And if you go to the Veterans Administration's website, and I'll try to remember to drop it in the chat before we log off. The VA has a caregiver support program, and right now that's actually the largest caregiver infrastructure program in the country. If you're the person that you're caring for meets certain eligibility requirements, you may be eligible for some financial assistance, as well as things like support groups, wellness checks for both your loved one and yourself. If you aren't eligible for that level of assistance, the VA program has a general caregiver support program that you can call to find out how to navigate the VA system. My dad actually was a veteran, and that's how I first got introduced to it. And I wish that I had made better use of it if I had known what was available. But the takeaway from that is that you have to look at like what services and supports the person that you're caring for is eligible for. And as you talk with case managers, etc., also ask what's available to you as a caregiver, because you never know. Support groups, I think support groups are vital. A lot through area agencies on aging, through the VA, through patient advocacy organizations. I know the Alzheimer's Association has a very vast network of support groups for people who are caring for others living with dementia. You can go onto their website and find support groups in your area, and normal non-pandemic circumstances, you can go in person, but there's also telehealth opportunities.